Mark Wahlberg slashed 20 points from his visceral fat count in just 5 days. He didn't do it with endless crunches, nor by starving himself. In this video, I will give you the specific 3-step biological code to target this hidden enemy. We'll cut off its food supply, disable its defenses, and then burn it for good. You know the feeling. You can do 10,000 crunches, run until your legs give out, and survive on celery sticks, yet that stubborn fat around your middle refuses to leave. It's because you are fighting the wrong enemy. That fat you can pinch on your belly, that is subcutaneous fat. For the most part, it's harmless. The real problem, the one you can't see or touch, is buried deep within your torso, hidden from view. It's called visceral fat.
You should think of it less like a layer of padding and more like a hidden parasitic tissue, silently wrapping itself around your vital organs, your liver, your intestines, your pancreas. Calling it a parasite isn't just for dramatic effect. This tissue is biologically active, and what it's doing inside you is far more dangerous than just making your pants feel tight. To defeat it, you first have to understand the silent war it's waging inside your body right now. This war isn't fought with soldiers or ammunition. It's a chemical war, and that parasitic tissue is a rogue factory pumping out inflammatory substances into your system. Think of it as an uninvited guest that has moved into your abdomen.
It eats first. It makes a terrible mess by spilling inflammatory signals that damage your arteries and organs, and it hijacks your body's command center, disrupting critical hormones like cortisol and insulin. This is why someone can appear thin, yet be profoundly unhealthy. It's the thin outside, fat inside paradox, or TOFI. The number on the scale is irrelevant because the real danger is unseen. Here's a simple test you can do right now. Poke your stomach. If the fat is soft and squishy, something you can easily pinch, that's mostly the harmless subcutaneous fat we discussed. But if your belly is firm, rounded, and protrudes, almost like an inflated basketball that you can't really grab, that's the sign of high visceral fat.
That firmness isn't muscle. It's the pressure of this internal mass pushing your abdominal wall outwards, crowding your vital organs. In a very real sense, that firmness is your liver screaming for help. I know this sounds terrifying. It is. But understanding the enemy is the first step to defeating it. This parasite, this active tissue, has a weakness. It operates on a specific biological code. And if you know that code, you can begin to systematically dismantle it. And here is the crucial insight. While this internal fat is the most dangerous, it is also the first to burn when you apply the correct pressure. It's highly responsive, but only to the right signals. So how do we dismantle this parasite? We use a 3-pronged biological attack.
First, we cut off its food supply. Second, we block the enzymes it uses to grow. And third, we use a specific method to burn it directly from your system. This is the protocol, refined through Japanese research, that targets the hidden enemy. We will begin with the first step, starving the parasite. This is where most people get it wrong. The secret isn't about what you must remove from your diet. It's about what you must strategically add. What you must strategically add are specific biological agents that act as rust removers for your cells. Let me explain. This parasitic visceral fat doesn't just exist. It thrives in a specific internal environment, one of high oxidative stress. You can think of this as a form of biological rust.
Imagine the mitochondria inside your cells are tiny, high-performance engines. Oxidative stress is the slow, creeping corrosion that clogs these engines, making them sluggish and inefficient. Visceral fat loves this rusty environment. It is the swamp in which it grows. The solution, then, is not starvation. It is sanitation. You need to deploy a cleaning crew to scrub away this rust at a cellular level. This is the first code, flooding your system with carotenoids. Carotenoids are simply the natural pigments that give vegetables their deep, vibrant colors. the rich orange in a sweet potato, the bold red in a bell pepper, the dark green in spinach. This isn't theory, it's proven biology. A fascinating double-blind study in Japan tested this exact principle. Researchers took a group of individuals and made just one change. They did not put them on a punishing diet. They simply had them strategically add carotenoid-rich foods like carrots and squash to their daily intake. The results over 8 weeks were profound. Genetic analysis showed their bodies began to literally turn off the genes responsible for storing fat, and simultaneously turn on the genes that burn it. They were fighting the parasite not with brute force, but with elegant, targeted chemistry. This gives us our first actionable rule, a simple code you can apply to every meal. Look at your plate. If the food is beige, bread, pasta, white rice, fried foods, it's feeding the parasite. It is fuel for that rust. But if your plate is vibrant with color, deep oranges, bright reds, rich greens, you are actively killing it. You are deploying the rust removers. So think sweet potatoes, bell peppers, spinach, kale, squash, and carrots. You are not just eating your vegetables, you are arming your body with the precise tools to dismantle the parasite's habitat. By applying this first coat, you are cutting off the parasite's life support and beginning to repair the cellular damage. You are priming the battlefield. But the fat itself is still locked away in its cells.
This dietary shift stops the problem from getting worse, but to truly accelerate its removal, you need the second part of the code. You need the key that unlocks the fat cells and forces them to release their toxic contents. That is exactly what we will cover next. That key is a specific compound found not in a lab, but in high-quality green tea. You have likely heard the claim that green tea helps with fat loss. It sounds like another hollow promise from the wellness industry. But the why behind this truth is what matters, and it is rooted in a fascinating piece of biochemistry. The real power isn't the tea itself, but a potent antioxidant within it called a catechin, specifically one known as EGCG.
This molecule performs a brilliant two-part function. Think of it as a biological combination code that works on two fronts simultaneously. First, EGCG acts as a master key. It chemically signals your fat cells, picking the lock on their doors and encouraging them to release their stored contents, the fatty acids, into your bloodstream. The fuel is now available. This is the critical step that was missing from diet alone. You are no longer just starving the parasite. You are now unlocking its hoard. Second, EGCG performs an entirely different role in your digestive system. Here, it acts like a vigilant bouncer. It partially inhibits an enzyme called lipase, which is what your body uses to absorb fat from the food you eat.
By getting in the way, EGCG effectively denies entry to a portion of the fat from your meals, which then passes through your system unabsorbed. So you are both unlocking stored fat and blocking new fat from coming in. This isn't theory, it's documented. A randomized, double-blind clinical trial published in the journal Obesity gave participants catechin-enriched green tea for 12 weeks. The results were clear. The green tea group experienced a significant reduction in visceral fat compared to the group that did not. They had the key. But a critical warning: the sugary, bottled green tea you find in a convenience store is a counterfeit key. It's often just sugar water that will actively feed the parasite you're trying to kill.
To get a therapeutic dose of EGCG, you need to go to the source. This means drinking matcha or high-quality sencha green tea. Because you are consuming the entire ground leaf, not just a weak infusion, you receive the full, undiluted power of the catechins. The mild caffeine in the tea also works in synergy, gently revving your metabolic engine while the EGCG unlocks the fuel tanks. So now we have the first two codes. With colorful foods, you've dismantled the parasite's habitat. With green tea, you've unlocked the fat cells and started blocking new fuel from arriving. The fat is now released and circulating. But there's a final, crucial piece missing. This released fat must be found and incinerated.
Without this final step, it can simply be taken up and stored again elsewhere. The third code is the incinerator. It is so powerful that one major study showed it slashed visceral fat by a staggering 48% in just 2 months. And here is the paradox that reveals the truth. Many of the subjects who achieved this dramatic internal fat loss saw almost no change on the bathroom scale. How is that even possible? That is the final secret we are about to unlock. The reason the scale didn't move is the very reason this final code is so powerful. It reveals a fundamental truth that modern fitness has tried to bury. You were building dense, healthy, metabolically active muscle while simultaneously incinerating the light, puffy, inflammatory fat from inside your organs. It's the ultimate body recomposition. So what is this third and final code? It's exercise, but not just any exercise. This is the laser-guided missile for visceral fat. Let's look at the science because it's stunning. A meta-analysis of 117 different studies confirmed the power of exercise, but one specific study broke the code wide open. They took a group of people and had them do a simple protocol: cycle on a stationary bike for 45 minutes, just twice a week, at a very specific intensity, 75% of their peak effort.
The results after just 2 months were staggering. Visceral fat dropped by an average of 48%. Their insulin sensitivity, a key marker for metabolic health, improved by 41%. All this with almost no change on the bathroom scale. This is why the single most liberating thing you can do on this journey is to throw your scale in the trash. It's a liar. It cannot tell the difference between the enemy you're killing and the ally you're building. A 48% drop. That's not a misprint. But listen closely, because this is where most people fail. This isn't about mindlessly spinning on a bike. The magic is buried in the intensity. Get this detail wrong and you're just wasting your time. Get it right and you activate the kill switch.
So how do you find this perfect 75% zone without $1 million lab? It's simpler than you think. It comes down to a test you can do anywhere, anytime. It's called the talk test. Here's how it works. While you're performing your chosen activity, be it brisk walking, cycling, or using an elliptical, pay attention to your ability to speak. First, if you can easily sing a song, you're not working hard enough. This is too easy. Second, if you can barely gasp out a word or two between breaths, you're working too hard. You've gone anaerobic, and that's not the target zone for this specific goal. But third, if you can hold a conversation, but your breathing is labored enough that anyone listening would know you're exercising, that is the sweet spot.
That is the 75% intensity zone. That is where visceral fat is burned for fuel. It should feel like you just walked briskly up a few flights of stairs. What's your go-to activity for hitting that 75% sweet spot? Share your favorite method in the comments. So there you have it, the complete 3-part biological code. Starve the parasite with colorful foods, unlock the cells with green tea, and incinerate the fat with targeted intensity exercise. But you must listen to this final warning. Knowing the code and successfully executing it are 2 different worlds. There is one final insidious mental trap that causes 90% of people to fail within the first few weeks, undoing all this work. Before you start, you must learn to recognize and dismantle this internal saboteur. That internal saboteur has a name. It is the instinct to starve. When you are faced with a problem you want to eliminate, the most primitive part of your brain offers a simple solution: cut off its supplies. But your body is an ancient and cautious system. To it, a sudden, drastic drop in calories doesn't signal fat loss, it signals famine. Imagine your metabolism is an engine. The starvation approach forces it to sputter, to run cold, to desperately hoard every last drop of fuel, your fat, for a long winter that is never coming. You are teaching your body to fear letting go. Strategic movement sends the opposite signal. It tells the engine to run hotter and burn cleaner. A study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine confirms that exercise has what's called a dose-dependent effect on visceral fat. Dieting has a point of diminishing returns where your metabolism fights back, but with targeted exercise, the transaction is honest. The more you do, the more you lose. There is no plateau.
The core strategy, then, is not to starve the body, but to strategically fuel it with nutrient-dense foods, the carotenoids, and then use precise movement to create the energy deficit. You don't starve the enemy within, you outmaneuver it. I realize this is a lot of information: the science of food, the chemistry of tea, the physics of exercise. It can feel overwhelming. So in this final part, I will distill this entire biological code into a simple, unbreakable daily checklist. A clear protocol you can follow step by step, starting tomorrow. Here is that protocol. Your 3-step battle plan against the hidden enemy, distilled into a simple, unbreakable daily checklist. First, the scavenger hunt. Look at your plate for every meal.
If the food is beige and processed, it's feeding the problem. Your mission is to add one deeply colored vegetable. Just one. That's your start. Second, the liquid key. Once a day, swap one of your usual coffees or sodas for a cup of matcha or sencha green tea. No sugar. This simple exchange unlocks the fat-burning mechanisms we discussed. Third, the 75% solution. Aim for 3 to 4 sessions a week, about 45 minutes each. Find your intensity using the talk test. You should be able to speak, but not sing. That's the zone where you specifically target visceral fat. And finally, remember the most crucial piece of this entire code. Consistency will always beat intensity. The best exercise is the one you will actually do.
Whether that's rucking with a weighted pack, swimming, or simply finding a hill and walking up it. Find your movement. This protocol is more than a list of tasks. It is a quiet rebellion against an industry built on your confusion. It's a return to listening to the signals of your own biology, not the shouting of the algorithm. It is the first step toward recalibrating your internal compass. And that recalibration unlocks your body's most fundamental instinct, its powerful, innate drive to heal itself. This hidden enemy, this driver of chronic disease, does not thrive when you are thriving. Your body is a resilient system, waiting for the correct signals. So stop starving it.
Start fueling it with the right pigments, and start moving it at the right pace. If this analysis provided a moment of clarity, a like is always appreciated. To continue exploring the truths that challenge mainstream narratives, subscribe and join our quiet rebellion. We have much more to uncover.